Alright, here we go. And so the four of us approached the castle gate, sprinting hastily through the dim forested trail.
Oh, look! I see the castle. Any guards? Huh, doesn't look like it. Weird. You'd think with the war going on, and with all those experiments they're doing, there'd be someone guarding the gate. Looks fishy to me. It may be a trap. Watch your surroundings carefully as we make our approach.
We all nodded and stepped tentatively towards the direction of the front gate. Just then... Dang. A crack of gunfire thundered beside us. We all gasped and held our breaths, thinking a nearby rifleman had spotted our movements, but...
I know you're hiding over there. Hey, we're all friends here. Why don't we stop with the games and just show ourselves, eh? I have been eagerly awaiting our battle here for quite some time.
That voice. I was hoping it was my favorite gunslinger. Excellent. I've missed you, Shiranui. It's been too long. So you're still hanging out with these losers, or are you here to give them trouble?
I had a feeling you would rear your head sooner or later. Enough of the charade. Show yourselves!
The tall, tan demon, Shiranui, had been waiting for us at the gate's opening. Okay, so you're working with them. Interesting.
You are here as well, eh?
Saito shot a glance at Shiranui with fervent animosity.
Have you any idea of what is being done inside of this castle right now?
For the most part. But I have no desire to help Kozma or that old codger, Kodo. However, it would be such a waste for me to abandon this opportunity to crush you in battle, too. I sure did miss all of you so very dearly. I merely hope that you have prepared yourselves as well as I did, else this will become embarrassing for you.
Although Shiranui's own agenda may have been at odds with both Kozma and my father, it seemed that it hadn't stopped him from seeking to become a nuisance for our own means.
I assume this means you hope to impede our progress, even if we were to ask you to do otherwise. I suppose we shall have to force our way in, then.
Saito wrapped his fingers around the hilt of his sword. Before he could move, however, Nagakora interrupted.
Saito, take her and get in there. We'll handle him. Yeah, time for us to settle the score with this chump once and for all.
Yeah, Saito, your fight is with the other being, Amagiri, not with this guy. This is Harada's fight.
What? He is a demon, and he wields a handgun. The two of you cannot possibly...
He's right. If it's just the two of you against Shiranui, then you'll...
Oh, what gives? You don't believe in us? Jeez, kinda harsh after we've survived all those close calls together, don't you think? I do not mean to express a lack of faith in you. It's just...
Oh, really? I only have two of you to play with. I mean, by all means. I don't mind. I mean, it's not like this'll take long at all. Go ahead. I have all day.
Dang.
Hear that? The demon's given us his permission. Get out of here, Saito. We'll handle this idiot. Just haul ass and get done what needs to be done.
Saito watched this interaction unfold silently, and he glanced between Nagakora and Harada. After a moment, he nodded in confirmation.
Understood. I will see to it that the mission is completed. But you had better follow behind me. Got it? Yeah, we know. Right back at you. Don't go dying on us either.
Without another word, Saito turned and sprinted in. I followed behind him as fast as my legs would take me. Saito, was it really okay for us to leave the two of them behind? Neither Nagakora nor Harada had ever drunk the water of life. They were both as human as could be. For the two of them to enter battle with a demon, let alone one as skilled with a gun, felt so reckless.
To their credit, both of them are men of their word. With the utmost certainty, I know they will keep their promise. So do not worry.
Saito's words were bestowed with an unbreakable trust, one that had been nurtured for years beside men with whom he had served the Shinsengumi faithfully. They got this. Especially Harada. He's definitely got this. And Shin is a pretty dang decent warrior, so sure knew he's gonna have his hands full. Within the castle's interior, it was hauntingly still. If the story told to us by the dying fury outside of the castle was true, then there should have been dozens of Aizu soldiers and furies waiting to greet us inside. Why is it so quiet? Didn't Nagakura say that this place was swarming with furies?
I anticipated to be one of two options. Either our intended destination is in a distant room here, or...
Saito's voice trailed off as he wondered to himself, and a chill ran down my spine. Then a startling surprise. It sounds like multiple sliding doors were flung open. From behind the sliding door came... well... A gang of feral furies screeched to signal their arrival, and they leapt feverishly into the room. Well, if there's ever a time.
Ugh.
In response, Saito changed into his fury form. It's interesting that he has the most trouble with transforming into a fury. It's usually accompanied by pain and sweat and all kinds of stuff. He unsheathed his sword, then he weaved so agilely between the furies, my eyes could barely keep up. Those swings. Inside of a narrow hallway, Saito opted to lunge instead of swinging his sword, piercing limbs to disarm his foes. For Saito, it seemed to be no labor to move through such a cramped corridor, as he had been well versed in fighting in many of Kyoto's narrow passageways. He looks a little worried. As well he should be.
Gah!
A battle between furies meant that the serum's enhancements were leveled. Only true swordsmanship could prevail. In the span of one breath, Saito had made quick work of each of the furies, killing them with grace and ease. Dad?
An awe-inspiring demonstration. How adept of you to dispatch my new creations in a flash.
This voice. It was...
It has been so long since our last acquaintance. I have not seen you since Kofu, was it?
Father!
I duly appreciate you delivering my daughter here to me. It saved me quite a bit of time to find her.
I have not brought her here to hand her over to the likes of you.
That may be, but in the end it matters very little. The end result will be the same, wouldn't you say? But my, the water of life suits you so nicely. So, how many times have you tasted your new power? Has it only been once? Or has it been so many times that you've started to lose count?
I owe you no answer.
Oh, pardon me. How silly of me to forget to mention something from the last time we were together. Have you the faintest idea of where your glorious fury powers are derived?
Saito was hesitant to answer given my father's cryptic tone, and he thinned his eyes in anticipation of whatever tricks father might have had up his sleeve. However, it seemed father was posing his question rhetorically, and his lips curled into a grin as he continued on.
Furies have capabilities beyond anything a human could do. However, humans bear the gift of a long lifespan. However, these powers were not bequeathed onto you as some act of charity. You are merely borrowing time from your human life to activate the potent force of the Fury.
What? If what my father had said were true, then every time Saito activated his Fury abilities, had it meant that he was sacrificing his remaining lifespan? Saito's brows furrowed slightly, as if he were perplexed by the sudden revelation, but then he muttered in a composed, hushed tone.
I see. It explains why the Fury outside had passed in such a strange way.
The Fury outside turned to ash without leaving a single trace of his remains behind. So, was that because when your lifespan had been completely depleted, there is nothing holding your body or your matter together? Then that meant Saito, having already drunk the water of life, will soon suffer the same fate?
I can see the anguish in your eyes. If you only saw how stupefied you look. Each time you harness the power of the Fury, you're only edging closer and closer to your own demise. So, what say you now? Doesn't this amuse you? All that you've been fighting for has turned out to be your own undoing. Hilarious, isn't it?
Father began cackling to himself maniacally, just as the despair began to sink in. Weed. Who could this be? My heart hopes it's Zanon, but I'm not sure, so we'll find out.
What makes you think that we'd get worked up over something like that?
A familiar voice called out from behind me. That voice, it was... Hey, Skay! Oh, even better. I'm like, it's gotta be a Fury. And someone who was with the Shinsengumi. I always forget about you, Heisuke, but good to see ya. I thought you were with Toshi, though. Heisuke? What are you doing here?
Ichikata told me to take care of any unfinished business I've got left while I still could.
Heisuke laughed lightheartedly before shifting an angry glare over at my father.
So, every time we fight, we're taking days off of our lives, is that it? That's supposed to scare us? Living on borrowed time. So what? Back in our Kyoto days, we spent every day like it'd be our last, living by the skin of our teeth. You know, there were even days where I couldn't sleep before I went out on my patrols. Imagine this, walking down the street. You never knew when a Ronin would come out of the shadows and get ya. If we could handle that, we can handle anything else. No way in hell are we gonna roll over just because we might die in the process.
Well said.
Ain't that right, Hajime?
In response, Saito's mouth twitched into a daring smile.
You're right.
Death was something both of the Shinsengumi men were intimately familiar with, making my father's attempts to cast doubt in their hearts all the more meaningless.
To us, how long we've got left are just chips to gamble with. So that means...
Aw.
all we've got to do now is go all in. That's how I've done it, and that's how it's gonna be.
Suddenly, Heisuke's hair became white. I love that we have such a gang with us, it's great. In one swift movement, Heisuke drew his sword and bolted rashly in Father's direction before sliding the icy sharp blade across his ribcage. He should have aimed for the heart.
Ugh!
However, Father was unfazed as the gash left by Heisuke began to seal itself and the bloody viscera stopped.
Hajime, I'll handle him. You go on ahead. As soon as I take care of her father, I'll be right behind you. Let's wipe out those demons once and for all.
Heisuke's words were confident and decisive, and not a hint of doubt could be found in them.
All right. I'll be waiting for you.
Saito nodded, and the two shared a wordless moment in which they acknowledged how much one of them meant to the other. A token of brotherly admiration. Aw. This ending's giving me all the feels. Atop of the large staircase was an enormous grand hall. Rows of ornately decorated tables and seats that were once host to an array of teeming guests, I imagined. In the place of the daimyo's chair, however, stood two tall, shadowy figures. Although there were only the two of them, their ghostly aura permeated the entire hall, causing my hair to raise chillingly all along the length of my arms. It was all but impossible to flinch. Well, hello. Now, Kozma, you're being very OOC this route by investing in these fakes. But I will allow it. Because I was warned that you are OOC in this route. And I'm looking forward to your duel with Hajime and seeing what Amagiri does about all of it. I just want another moment between Amagiri and Hajime. That's all I want. Let's see what happens. I had made one of the figures out to be Kyujo Amagiri, who, upon recognizing me, grimaced irritably.
Her? Why in the world would you bring her here?
Beside him stood Chikage Kozma, staring vacantly at us.
Isn't it obvious? Obviously, this idiot has seen the error of his ways and brought her to me as an offering.
Sure. Okay. Deluded much?
Pray tell, when was the last time we have spoken? You know, back then, you Shinsengumi dogs still had a lot of bite in you. But now, you are nigh but a group of whimpering pups.
Kozma's taunts were met with no reaction from Saito, who continued to glare coldly at the demon.
Well, excellent work, guard dog, but I grow impatient. Enough of these pretenses. Bring my bride to me.
She is not here as an offering.
Oh, so tell me then, why is she here?
I have promised her safe travel, and I will end you. Her being here is proof enough that I am more than capable of achieving both. Kozma chortled in amusement from Saito's challenge.
What an absurd proposal. You are so delusional as to believe you could defeat me, eh? Please do not tell me that the memory of our battle in Tobufushimi has escaped you so easily. Calling it pitiful would scant do it justice, as I nearly squashed you like a pathetic insect under my foot. Have you forgotten that your paltry swordsmanship was nothing until you drank the water of life? That you survived it all is merely a demonstration of the mercy of which I am oft willing to extend.
My decision to drink the serum was my own, and it was one for which I have no regrets. Of all the paths I could have chosen, I am proud to say I have done what is best for myself. There is no need to call myself into question, as I have served with the utmost honor in all facets of my life. Saito's demeanor was unwavering in his refusal to give in to Kozma's crude verbal provocations.
Utmost honor? Do not flatter yourself, fool. You are little more than a dog drooling meagerly at the behest of your master. Whom do you claim to serve with such honor? Is it the Shinsengumi who have ordered you to protect her? Or could it be the Aizu?
Up to a point, what you suggest may have been true. However, from now on... Saito exercised control as he spoke, as if an intense azure flame was being stoked fervently in his eyes. My actions are of my own volition. I will see to it that you won't lay a finger on her. That I can promise you. Time to shut that insolent mouth of yours for good. Dang! Go Hajime! In an instant, Saito's hair turned white.
Ah, at last the poor dog has his bite back. Alright then, I welcome your futile challenge. Feel free to begin however you please. Amagiri, this is between us. Stay out of this.
I'm like, hey, Amagiri, you want to hang out with me and watch a fight between your boy and my boy again? We can reminisce from last time. I brought popcorn. To Amagiri, Kozma's victory may have seemed like a foregone conclusion. So Amagiri put up little resistance and scoffed as he leaned his back against the wall.
Yukimura, I ask that you stand back as well.
Saito.
Everything will be okay. This man will do neither of us any harm. Now, step back.
I had to believe in Saito. I had to. So I did as he requested, and I rested my back tensely against the wall. Alright. Then Saito unsheathed his sword. Their battle had begun. Saito kicked at the ground, hoping to land a critical blow upon Kozma's exposed neck. Kozma effortlessly smacked at Saito's blade to parry the strike, and the two swords were fiercely locked. However... Saito, it seemed, was the stronger of the two. The blade trembled in Kozma's hands, and he persisted by hoping to push Saito back. By then, however, Saito had released the tension, and the two stepped back. Kozma and Saito stood at odds with one another. You better take this seriously. To Kozma's surprise, Saito unsheathed a second sword and lunged at him from his side profile. Wow.
Gah!
Kozma raised his sword to deflect the blow, but Saito edged him in speed by a fraction of a second. Every moment mattered, and Saito aimed a precise strike to knock Kozma's sword from out of his hand. Dang, should have got that Demon Slayer. Wow! I think this is the first time I've ever seen this look on Kozma's face, and he looks really cute. I'm distracted, sorry, but I'm like, oh, shocked Kozma looks so cute.
I was bested in a battle of strength. I lost to this fake. How? How could you have disarmed me? This cannot be happening!
Kozma shrieked wildly in disbelief, and he scurried a little distance over to where his sword had fallen. Then... Ooh.
Oh!
Saito stabbed the tip of his blade into Kozma's hand as it reached frantically for the sword's hilt, and I heard an eerie crunch as Saito dug the tip deeper into the flesh. Dang.
Oh! You bastard! You insolent bastard!
Drops of crimson blood stained the castle floor. Thick streams began to trickle in the shape of a web. Ew. Kozma's face scrunched as he grabbed a hold of Saito's blade and pulled it recklessly from his maimed hand. Because of his regenerative powers, Kozma's hand was sure to heal any moment now, but...
You worthless, impudent swine! First you sully my presence with your filth, and then you spill my precious blood!
Hatred seethed behind Kozma's lucid eyes, his composure waning steadily as he barked at Saito. Well, take it seriously.
This is unforgivable! Killing you is not enough. I will peel the flesh from your bones, and torture you in ways worse than you can imagine. There will be nothing left of you to find.
I flinched when Kozma began screaming at the top of his lungs. It was fear incarnate. There you go. Oh, this boy and his wounded pride. All the time will get the better of him. Then Kozma began to transform into a true demon with golden eyes and stark white hair. It was deity-like, an unimaginable sight.
No human has ever bore witness to my true form. Consider yourselves fortunate, you filthy worms.
All of a sudden, Kozma's composure was restored, and when he spoke, his voice echoed like a temple bell, resonating in a low tone felt deeply in my chest. Saito assumed an offensive stance and then leapt from the ground to rush at Kozma. But something confounding had happened.
What the?
Kozma, who only moments beforehand was standing right in front of Saito, vanished without a trace. Or did he? Rather, Kozma had achieved superhuman speed, which accelerated his movements beyond what my eyes were able to follow. I shuddered to think what Kozma was capable of if he were to shift his focus from dodging to attacking. Just as I had been contemplating the worst, a blinding flash cut through the air. As my vision was restored, my fears had been realized. Oh no! The tide has turned.
Gah!
Blood spurted from a fresh wound in Saito's chest. Saito! I had no time to react, let alone see what happened. I hadn't seen where the source of his wound came from, but then all of a sudden another bloody gash appeared on Saito's arm. Thick deluges of blood trickled from Saito's exposed flesh, gathering into a pool underneath his drenched body.
Oh!
Saito began to cough blood violently from his mouth. Although his fury powers would have normally healed these lacerations shortly after they'd been inflicted, there's not time. Amagiri, please help your boo. Please. Kozma was ruthless. He swung again and again from the shadows, giving Saito no chance to defend himself. Ooh. Oh dear.
Ha 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 ha! You are no match for me!
Yee.
Tell me, has your courage left you so quickly? You had vowed before all present that your victory was assured thanks to the powers of the water of life. Such a shameful display. Collect yourself at once, or you will suffer from how much blood you've lost. I want to squash you like the pathetic insect you are.
Even with his enhanced strength and speed, Saito proved to be little match against Kozma's current state. The Grand Hall, once immaculate and lavish, had now been covered by gruesome spatterings of Saito's blood. No! It was a traumatizing sight, and I couldn't help but cover my eyes in horror. Saito's legs wobbled underneath him as he struggled to endure the grueling pain. It was a pain that I could not begin to fathom. Saito coughed violently once more. In an attempt to support his body, which was under the verge of collapse, he stuck his sword into the ground. Oh boy.
What's the matter, Fake? Can't even stand up anymore.
Kozma walked behind Saito and grabbed him by his blood-soaked hair, forcing him to look up. Ow.
Tell me again what you said. How I wouldn't lay a finger on her. How you'd shut my mouth. You were so confident, so bold. And now look at you. Is this what you want? Where did all that talk about volition and choosing your path go? Not so easy after all, is it?
Saito drew haggard breaths, but his eyes were fixed right on Kozma's seething glare.
But I am a man of great generosity. If you grovel and beg for my forgiveness, I may reconsider executing you here and now. Let's see, first. Why don't you get down on your knees, rub your forehead against the floor like the ill-mannered swine you are, and apologize for your behavior?
To hell with the...
Come again. I didn't hear you.
The only orders I heed are my own. I will never do anything unless I will it, unless I know it to be true in my heart. An unexpected answer to Kozma, whose eye twitched in response. And then, Kozma began viciously beating Saito's head into the blood-stained floor viciously like a tama drum.
Won't follow an order unless you will it, is that so? You disgusting, arrogant piece of rat shit! How dare you speak to me so boorishly?
Then Kozma stomped his foot upon the head of Saito as he wailed bitterly.
You need to learn some manners and some respect. Bow before your master! What makes you think that obeying me is a choice, when you are nothing but a fake?
Stop! I couldn't stop my body from shaking as I witnessed Kozma brutally attacking Saito. Stop! Refusing to watch any longer, I reached my hand for my Kodachi when... The shocked cough is just a great accompaniment to the... to what just happened there. Alright. Surprise cough coming up. I knew it. I knew I had all the faith in you. Best boy. Best demon boy. Amagiri brushed off his shoulder and quietly approached Kozma before throwing a fist at him. Why?
So unsightly to watch a warrior humiliated like that. This sick behavior is unbefitting of any man, less so for a demon. That's the only reason.
Oh, sure. And you wouldn't be best friends with this guy if you weren't on opposite sides. Amagiri then looked over at Saito, who was lying in a shallow pool of his own blood.
Saito, grab your sword. If you've still got the water of life flowing through your veins, you should be fine in a minute or two, even if you're in rough shape right now.
Saito squirmed for a brief moment, then he slowly tried raising himself up. Oh dear. An ominous shadow sidled closely behind Amagiri. That is the look of a man who has been viciously betrayed by his right-hand guy. And he's just like, I will murder you! How dare you punch me in the stomach?
I will never forgive you! Amagiri, you! I will never... Ugh.
I was worried, though, that Amagiri is gonna die for his betrayal. Don't die, Amagiri, please.
Unthinkable that you would even consider betraying me. Even worse, because it aids this fake.
Kozma snuck up on Amagiri and struck him from behind, causing Amagiri to kneel over the floor in pain. You're horrible! Well, wasn't Amagiri one of his friends? Kozma had no visible reaction to my outburst, as usual. His aura had changed from earlier. All of the indignance from earlier had dissipated and he fell silent. Kozma's appearance became... ghastly. Then all of it was flipped on its head. The glow of his golden demonic eyes shined above Saito, who had mustered enough strength to stand. Saito!
Stand back, Yukimura. Do not come any closer.
I bit into my lips and I stepped back as I was told. I wanted nothing more than to fight alongside him. But I had to accept the truth that doing so would only serve as a burden to him, so I was in a bit of a conundrum. You can go help Amagiri. Kozma and Saito glared at one another, and the air around us was thick with an electrifying tension. For Saito, timing was everything. All it took was one crucial swing and victory was his. My knees shook as the tension reached its peak. Kozma, assuming his battle-ready stance, had broken from his stoic gaze into a malicious smirk. And then, Kozma also has a stoic gaze.
Ugh!
The wind pushed back my hair from the force of Kozma's swing, which Saito had thankfully dodged. However, Kozma had anticipated Saito evading his strike, and the demon spun his body around and swung his blade with all of his might at Saito. Saito! Saito had been flung against the wall, kicking up a cloud of dust as he landed. A coughing fit followed soon after, but Saito raised himself back up like it was nothing. Kozma, however, gave Saito no chance to gather himself, kicking at the ground to lunge for Saito.
Gah! Too slow. Too slow, you little insect. Damn it! I can't find an opening.
Saito weaved around Kozma, trying to hit at Kozma from all angles, but Kozma parried each strike without exerting any effort. The metallic hiss of their blades clashing stung my ears, and I watched Saito struggle to find an opportunity to strike as Kozma easily neutralized each attack. Our chances for victory dwindled with each moment. I nervously wrapped my fingers around my Kodachi. All I'd need is a second. I was under no delusion that I could cause any harm to Kozma, but if I could successfully distract him, then maybe it would be enough for Saito to get the better of him. I took in a deep breath, clenching my fist when... Now who?
Hey, Saito! The hell's going on here? Looking a little rusty. Did you forget how to fight since we've been gone?
I thought we had a rule that you gotta watch your back when you're in the middle of a duel, remember? I think the rule went... Never fight alone!
Nagakura! Harada! Heisuke! Yay, the trio's back! I'm so happy. Each of them were filthy, covered in thick layers of blood, sweat, and dust. The result, I imagine, of their hard-fought battles. Does that mean Shiranui? Yeah. Does that mean Shiranui and Father are both dead? Because dang.
Sorry for keeping you. Let's get this over with, shall we? Right.
Alright then, here we go!
I think Kozma bit off more than he could chew this time around. Heisuke leapt from the floor, racing towards Kozma with the zeal of a wild animal. Oh. He injured him. Good job.
What is the meaning of... You bastards!
Before Kozma had a chance to finish his thought. Uh-oh.
Gee, fighting alongside you guys really takes me back to those Kyoto days.
They're just having a friendly chat while they just murderize this guy.
Oh!
Nagakura darted behind Kozma and put all of his weight into swinging his sword against Kozma's exposed back.
You goddamned fools!
Kozma turned around to aim a retaliatory swing at Nagakura, but...
Who you calling a fool? Playtime's over. I'm sending you to the grave once and for all.
Next came Harada, rapidly charging forward with his spear, which was aimed right for Kozma's heart.
Cool. Alright, now's your chance, Saito. Time to show everyone what that sword of yours can do. I know.
Saito seized his sword and he hopped in front of where Kozma had been standing. Suddenly, all was still. A suffocating tension gripped everyone in the hall. Just then. Wow. What a picture. Holy crap. I think this is even more beautiful than the one with Toshi in him. A flickering sheen followed the path of Saito's polished sword, moving faster than the blink of an eye. By the time I had realized what had happened, a gaping wound was cut across Kozma's abdomen. Saito stood tall, his blade unblemished by Kozma's blood. He had performed a perfect EI, to the point that his blade had seemed to everyone invisible. Was Saito really able to land the perfect strike on Kozma? For whatever reason, time was moving excruciatingly slow, and a silent tension still permeated the air. And then...
Gah!
A blood-curdling shriek bellowed throughout the hall. Kozma fell to the ground, still as a rock.
Did we do it?
Everyone's fatigue was starting to set, doubly so for Nagakura, who spared no moment dropping to his knees. Saito, on the other hand, still stood with his sword firmly in grasp, and he walked towards Kozma. Kozma's body had returned to its original form. As Saito sauntered quietly towards the fallen demon, it was Amagiri who'd reached the body before Saito did. Amagiri crouched down, inspecting Kozma's bloody body to verify whether or not he'd truly been killed. And then, Amagiri stood up and he shook his head silently.
That swing was something to behold. You have improved, Saito.
Saito nodded stoically in return.
There is something I must tell you.
What would that be?
Kyoto was close to discovering a breakthrough with the water of life in an experiment on these lands. His hope had been in finding an antidote to ease the fury symptoms and prolong the life of the inflicted. Supposedly, over in Mutsu is an oasis containing pure water, which cures the water of life's dire effects. Should your journey lead you to discover this oasis, the chances of extending your life increase greatly. Well, sort of. Suffice to say, it will not wipe away all of the effects, but it might make life a little bit easier.
Why are you telling me this?
Because never have I seen a truer samurai. It'd be a shame to let you go into the afterlife because of some damn poison. The war is not ending anytime soon. Way further north, out beyond Mutsu, there's a lot of blood being spilled out there. As far as the Satsuma's concerned, I bet they're getting their revenge on the Takagawa clan for what happened in Sekigahara. Everyone's got a bone to pick.
The battle that the Takagawa clan took over the country and divided the country in two. The Satsuma lost and were treated horribly by the shogunate for many years.
Such is the way of the world, they say. In 100, even 200 years from now. What a tragedy it would be if Aizu were to be in the same position as the Satsuma and Choshu are today, wouldn't you say? So I want you to consider your position carefully. As in, think about your role in ending all of this violence, this turmoil in the future. How are you going to stop all of your countrymen tearing each other apart, to end their hatred, their suffering? The kanji for warrior means to stop one's arm.
Amagiri's eyes were thin and relaxed, and his lips formed a peaceful smile. Then, without another word, Amagiri left us. What a bro.